To officially make you very welcome tonight and to remind you of what the night and the century has been all about, would you please make welcome the chairman of West's Magpies, Kevin Hammond.
Thank you, Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to play a special welcome to the Team of the Century players, their families, their loved ones, and those that are representing the players here that couldn't be here tonight for one reason or another. Our special guests, ladies and gentlemen, the West faithful. It's with great pleasure on behalf of the board of the Western Suburbs District Rugby League Football Club that I welcome you all here tonight to this magnificent venue at West Ashfield, who I might say right from the outset, none of this, and I mean none of this, would have been possible without the full and wholehearted support of the board and management of this club. And to this day, this club survives because of the unquestioned and undying support of West Lees Club Ashfield. So we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. Things like tonight, a magnificent painting will be unveiled before your very eyes, which celebrates the very nature and character of Western Suburbs and portrays our magnificent team in the century and what we hope will be accepted as being true to the spirit of Western Suburbs. That too was made possible by the generous commissioning of that portrait from renowned artist Mr. Dave Thomas by West Ashfield. Tonight is a very special occasion, and I'd like to formally acknowledge and welcome some of the past sponsors of our club, some of whom Mike has already referred to tonight, and that is Victor Sunbeam, who is represented by Mr. Robert Tasso. Subaru Australia, who was represented by Mr. Trevor Amy, who formerly was of Capital Motors, who also in years gone by was of tremendous assistance to Western Suburbs. Mr. Paul Noring, who's representing IPEC Toll, who you recall in the 80s was one of our valued sponsors. And last but not least, as you would all know, this gentleman, very famous in his own right, Jim Masterton, the man of who is the builder of dreams for Masterton Homes, and Mr. Robert Barnaby, who together picked West up at a time when we were in desperate need and gave unfavoured support to the Magpies. Jim and Robert, welcome to our very special function tonight. I'd also like to mention the following sponsors who are our current local sponsors, and that is Mr. Frame, Bob and Judy Iverson, Mr. Frame, who have done a lot of work tonight in a lot of the framed items of memorabilia that you'll see here tonight. Carney Spall Marketing, who are our gear suppliers. Prospect Credit Union, MacArthur Engineering, City Hotel Campbelltown, West Lees Club Campbelltown, Jim and Jeanette Medway from Snap Printing, who everything you see printed here tonight is as courtesy of Snap Printing. And of course, our naming rights sponsor for this year, Coldwell Financial Services, who together with Herbal World, Walker, Tooheys, South Cork Wines and West Ashfield are the sponsors collectively of tonight's magnificent event. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very special occasion. It only comes around once in a century, and I'm certainly not going to be around to see it in the next century. But as you'd appreciate, this is a celebration of in two ways tonight. We have an opportunity to celebrate and honour our team of the century, and also, and just as importantly, it was an opportunity for us to bring back together the West faithful who, over a long period of time, have not had the opportunity to come together as one and enjoy each other's company as tonight at such an auspicious occasion. So together tonight, what is more important is that Western Suburbs as a club is going to honour and celebrate our team of the century. As you know, last year the West Tigers had a function at which time it announced its team of the century, and to complement that, at the suggestion of Western Suburbs, both a Balmain and a Western Suburbs team of the century was announced. Unfortunately, because it was a function which was to do with West Tigers, that we did not have the opportunity to properly celebrate and commemorate the naming of our own team of the century. Therefore, as far as the Western Suburbs Club was concerned, it was never ever going to be fulfilled until such time as we as a club could come together and celebrate and honour our own team of the century, the great of the greatest players that have wore the black and white of Western Suburbs. If you'd have told me as a young kid at the Hill of Pratton Park or at Lidcombe Oval that one day I would stand before you as your chairman of this magnificent club, and moreover that I would stand here on such a significant occasion in the history of this club, then I would have just laughed and said that's just absolutely impossible. So I'm very humbled to be here as your chairman tonight to stand before you and address you on such a very important occasion. And of course, not too many people in life have the opportunity to experience and go through life and experience or be part of something special. To be part of this team of the century of this magnificent club is something very, very special. And when I think of that, I think of players that are in the team of the century, and I signal two out in particular, one of which is Keith Holman. Keith, although small in stature, has a heart the size of Farlap, and in his day on the field he brought to the knees the biggest, the ugliest, the toughest players that came up against him. But when he talks of Western Suburbs and he talks of the teammates that he played alongside in this club, the man is overcome overwhelmingly with emotion and has reduced to tears. On another occasion, I look to what, and quite unashamedly I say this, my childhood hero in Noel Kelly, who was quoted arguably the toughest man to ever play rugby league, who said once, "There wasn't a West player I did not want to play with. Not one dud. I love West. It's the greatest club in the world. To put on a West jumper is equal to putting on an Australian jumper." And finally, ladies and gentlemen, in this very venue last Friday night, I was privileged to be here at a function conducted by West Cricket Club, where I had the privilege of listening to Mr. Alan Davidson, MBE, one of the greatest Australian cricketers that the country has ever produced, and a Western Suburbs cricketer. And I heard Alan talk and speak of what it meant to him to play cricket for Western Suburbs. I heard what it meant to him to be part of Western Suburbs. I heard how he felt about Western Suburbs. And when you put those three things in perspective and you put them together, you realise just how special it is to be part of Western Suburbs, whether it be a player, a supporter, a sponsor, in whatever capacity that you are a part of Western Suburbs, you know that you'll go through life and look back and say that you were part of something very, very special. Ladies and gentlemen, our team of the century is full of players and people who have fashioned the characteristics of this club over a lengthy period of time, almost from day one. They created a culture and a disposition for this club. There was a football club that would never say die. And the players that make up our team of the century are what rugby league, the best that rugby league has to offer. It's what all that is good that rugby league stands for and is important. Loyalty, mateship, a commitment fashioned out of the working class society that strove for recognition through its football heroes. That is what our team of the century represents. That is what they've created, a culture for this club that has stood the test of time over the years. And in trying to encapsulate what is relevant to both our team of the century and also this club, I found a quote that I'd like to read for you from James J. Corbett, who was a heavyweight boxer of many years ago, and he had this to say: "Fight one more round. When your feet are so tired that you can't shuffle back to the centre of the ring, fight one more round. When your arms are so tired that you can hardly lift your hands to come on guard, fight one more round. When your nose is bleeding and your eyes are black and you are so tired that you wish your opponent would crack you on the jaw and put you to sleep, fight one more round. Remembering that the man who fights one more round is never defeated." That, ladies and gentlemen, is what encapsulates our team of the century, and that is what epitomises the Western Suburbs Club. I thank you all for coming. I hope you have an exceptional evening in what is, as I said before, a very significant occasion in the history of this club. And just before I part, I would simply have this to say, that there is not and possibly never will be a greater club than Western Suburbs. And I invite you now to sit back and enjoy a video as we celebrate our team of the century, who are truly the boys from Western Suburbs. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.